Welcome back to the latest episode of TT Plays. My name's Sung Soo, and we're here for Game 3. At the end of our testing night, we have Arisanna versus Toni. It's all tied up 1-1, and there's going to be a couple play mistakes, so I'm going to get out ahead of it. It was real late at night, but let's see how the game unfolded. So obviously, we're both still on water, and reception for these videos has been pretty high, so I really do appreciate it. These take a lot of time to make, so if you like the content, please give us a like, a subscribe. We really do appreciate it. So we have a Steam Night on the board. Nigel tries to materialize his scepter, but he can't yet because I am not yet watery. So it's always that weird thing was if you want the scepter out early, the second player is going to get their scepter onto the field first. So again, we're playing Arisanna here, and we're going to start here with a banger of a card, a Convalescence Tonic. Nigel has to read it, because most people do. It allows you to put 2 cards on the bottom of your deck and replace them, and recover 3. I'm going to materialize my scepter, getting rid of a Comet Fall. We're going to attempt to pass the turn, but we get fracturized, and now Nigel has some floating memory. Nigel's debating whether he wants to go up to Toni or not. He ultimately decides to just push card advantage, grab a GCR, banish that GCR to draw a card here, crushes in for 2, then has a couple different options in his hands, and he decides to go with one that's really hard to argue with, a Gildy. So Gildy here has kind of been meta-defining for quite a while. I remember when she was a really cheap card, but since the time of the 2-3 ally, Gildy has been extremely prevalent here. After swinging with Gildy, he materializes the scepter to maintain balance through the attack, and he attempts to pass the turn. I pop the tonic at the end of the turn, and then I go ahead and I run out my Fracturize. And sadly for everyone, we get hit with a Frostbind. I do have 2 here to pay for it. Nigel didn't notice it. So we used the fractal we had floating and we put 1 down. And that's our first play mistake of the day. But we're going to go ahead and move up to Arisanna. We're going to use our float. We generate a couple herbs here. 1 recover, 1 bottom draw. And we drew the Foraging Servant, one of the cards that we're testing, off of that Convalescence Tonic, and it ends up being the best thing in our hand to run down now. We also have a Paladin, but we don't have any float, and the Paladin isn't able to trade efficiently, so I'm hoping I can play out the Paladin next turn, use it plus the Foraging Servant to trade into one of those 1-3s or 2-3s. We're going to make some more herbs, pass the turn. Again, we've only taken 3 because of that Convalescence Tonic, so I don't feel horrible doing this, but I definitely don't feel great. Nigel goes ahead and levels up to Toni, Lone Mercenary. There's that taunt, which ruins all of my dreams of killing one of those 1-3/2-3 bodies here. Another Knight, and in the meta of 2-3s, 2-3s reign supreme. So I end up playing a Conjure Downpour here, and I technically played this wrong. Because I played it on the swing, the unit attacking shouldn't get the -2. So I played it on the cast, or I played it in Recollect, it would hit everyone. But because he had already declared 1 as attacking, the Conjure Downpour doesn't work on that. So again, here's the second misplay of the game. But just, Conjure Downpour has to be played before the attack is denoted, which is of course when they would get the negative. Arisanna gets us 2 of the same herb, which is great. We can use that to draw a card at the end of this round if we need to. I think we're just going to pass it back with this Conjure Downpour, and odds are we're going to make the same mistake we did last time. We could attack with this Foraging Servant, and I don't remember why I don't. Like, he has Intercept, but if he kills it, that's great, because then I get my float. So we have a Scry this guy's here, and I think for a long time, as I look at these 2 cards, it's a Cosmic Bolt and a Paladin. And unfortunately, I'm seeing that Cosmic Bolt just 1 turn too early. Again, this Scry here takes me a while. So I will shout out that we have a Wind Arisanna deck tech video coming up. Should be the end of this week. And again, I've enjoyed making these gameplay videos. We have a few more in the pipe. We have Crux Lorraine versus Water Toni. And we also have a Luxem Xander match queued up as well. And if you have gameplay videos you'd like me to record, you can email me at ttplays@gmail.com. Send me a brief description of what the game is along with your footage. We'll take a look at it, but I would love to start doing other people's games as well. So again, we don't end up attacking with the Servant. I'm not sure what I was thinking there. We sacrifice 2 herbs to move through. Toni materializes a Water Resistance Bauble. Bauble's obviously phenomenal for maintaining balance. We play a 2/3 body with no text, the trained sharpshooter, and Gildy comes in. And again, same misplay as before. We subtract the 2 from the Gildy swing, and again, that shouldn't happen. Nigel passes the rest of his turn back to me. Some people ask why people are playing those 2/3s with no text, and it's because of Dream Fairy, it's because of Nia. If you're going to play a 2/3 without text, you want them to be as diverse as possible in name, which is why you often see them playing 3 sets of 3 as opposed to 2 sets of 4 and like 1 Lone Ranger or something. So the Servant ends up coming over now. Doesn't really do anything, but we might as well get it out of the way because we're hoping to flip into that Comet Fall. We also had the option of playing out the Frostwarn there and using the Frostwarn to help trade. We end up not doing that, and we're just going to ship it back over to the Guardian player. The Guardian player has quite the board here. We've taken 7 life, he's only taken 1. A Bulwark Sword comes onto the field, and it's not looking great for our hero making potions. Toni starts crushing in with a horde of 2/3 bodies. We take a quick 6. He checks to see if he can balance out the Gildy. And he can, using that fractal, crushes in for another 4. And then 2 more, pushing us all the way to 19. He does end up pushing us over 20, which is interesting. That would allow us to grab the Chalice of Blood, which of course is what we materialize right here. We're going to banish it and recollect. And here, I have a chance to move the game to another round, but we're going to make a couple misplays. The first one is playing this Fast Cure. I didn't count, but we actually had the same influence. I don't have a way to get rid of it quickly, and if I didn't play the Fast Cure, I could have played a Potion of Healing. But of course, we played the Fast Cure. We have to stick to our actual plays. The Servant crushes in for 1. We Comet Fall to clear the board. But sadly, we're dead to a Bulwark swing. And that's basically what happens. Toni levels up, Bulwark swings in, and we lose the game. So again, I apologize for the last game in the series to be a bit of a blunderfest. Again, it was the end of the night. It's definitely not my best playing, but that's why we practice. Iron sharpens iron, and I guess plastic spoons sharpen plastic spoons. So it was a great series against my buddy Nigel. Again, you can stay tuned for more gameplay videos. Crux Lorraine, Luxem Xander, we know we have out there, and we might end up doing a mid-range water off. Let me know what your favorite deck of the meta currently is. What are you playing for Store Champs? And until next time, everyone, cheers and happy gaming.